Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Welcome back. We are here. We're so amped up to talk to you about Riverdale. Crazy stuff going on. Why do they keep referencing Benjamin Button? What Riverdale star was accused of murder? And what else is going on in Riverdale in this crazy episode? Stick with us, guys. We are so excited. We'll see you in just one quick second.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Boom. Okay, there we go. Jailhouse Rock. Hyped. Oh yeah, there she's got the hair move.
Well, first of all, I love the Jailhouse Rock song just in general. I think it's amazing. And they're in cheerleader outfits, so I'm happy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Vixens.
Yeah, the Vixens just making it happen here on Riverdale. We're doing the AfterBuzz TV after show, and my goodness, are we excited to be back.
I would agree, though, and before, I know Ben Bateman was probably his least favorite kind of...
Of the covers?
Yes.
Yeah, this wasn't my favorite cover, but, you know, I understood the point of it. And it's funny, like, when they show us this type of thing, you know, it's like, we're going to choreograph this song and dance number. It's not really about, like, does it fit in the context? Is it realistic? Any of that. It's just like, we want to do a song. So this is like a mini music video. That's the point.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, guys, this is the Riverdale After Show. As I mentioned, what were your first thoughts on the episode, guys? What did you think about this episode?
Okay, so for me, a lot of craziness. I have my own predictions. I'm so ready to get to that because people are just culty and evil. And the parents are definitely hiding something that happened in their youth, which is interesting because they can't stand each other.
That was a turn of the left
all
field.
In one room, and you know they can't stand each other.
Right.
Like, so what was so big enough that make them all get in one room together and have a common goal? Because Fred still should have punched Hiram one more time. I would appreciate it.
Obviously, yeah, some crazy flashback that we're going to get as we talk about the flashback episode. Frank, what was your first thoughts?
Intriguing. I feel like maybe I feel a little bit better than season 2 at this point. So it seems like the writers might, at this point, and I could be proven wrong, but at least they seem like they have a better overall game plan for the season.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
fingers crossed.
Like this episode, it was a lot of fun. One thing I'm noticing, and I mentioned this in the cold open here, you know, the reference to Benjamin Button as a character, you know, Ben Button. I wonder if in the initial meetings for this show, the conversation was like, we want to do a Riverdale, Riverdale teen show on CW, but we also want it to be this like homage thing. Like, I don't really get it. Like every single episode or two is like a direct reference to some piece of pop culture. It's like a thing that they're doing. And it's, at first I thought it was cute, and now I'm just like, that's what the show is. That is literally what this show is. And I mean, you guys have to notice it too.
Does it bother you?
It's not that I don't think it bothers me. It's more just like, it's a very unique idea. Like, for instance, the stuff, I mentioned it last week, but the True Detective stuff here is like beating me over the head with it. Like, that's what this is. They are investigating True Detective season 1. The little like figurines and like the, you know, Carcosa, will be reunited in the afterlife. The Gargoyle King is the Yellow King. Like, it doesn't bother me. It's just like super interesting to me that that's what this show has become. I didn't realize it in the first season, and now as we're 3 seasons in, even this episode opening, it's like very Shawshank, like very clearly Shawshank.
For me, it almost reminds me of those teen girls who took the girl out to the woods and beat her to death because they thought that was part of their, like part of a test to get them into the game that they were playing.
You're talking, is that a movie or is that?
No, it's actually real life.
Oh, that's a real life
like
thing.
12-year-old girls took another 12-year-old girl to the woods and beat her because of a video game, and they said they need to do it because the video game told them.
Wow, that's crazy. I haven't heard that story, but that's tragic.
Yeah, they're making a Lifetime movie about that too as well. So
wow.
It's crazy, and it actually reminded me of that in the sense that even though it is very Shawshank Redemption, it's also in lines of actual things that are happening, what kids believe in, or what they need to believe in to get through high school.
I have no connection to youth culture. I'm old, but I understand what you're saying, and that's a crazy story. And I didn't connect those things. I didn't hear that story. But as far as my initial thoughts on the episode, I think that, you know, it's interesting that that's the direction the show continues to take. I think we could, like, remember we talked about it last season, like the Zodiac stuff. Like, it's just like very clear they're taking pages out of books, and so you know, that's a fun angle. Like, I just, in my mind, it's more about like when you pitched this show. Did you pitch it that way?
Although, I mean, I feel like this episode has a quasi kind of longest yard kind of moment as well, too.
Definitely.
So,
100%.
Whether, I mean, but yeah, necessarily, I don't know if that's, you know, usually a pop culture like reach. Like, Man, longest yard, man.
Hey, R.I.P. Burt Reynolds. So, anyway, guys, coming up today on the show, there is a Riverdale star in real life that has been accused of murder. We're going to have a conversation about that. We're going to talk about our predictions, where we think this is going. What the hell was the act that the adults got into? I think we all want to talk about that. And, we're going to probably maybe talk a little bit, rankings of our favorite Pussycat songs, as well as who stole the episode, who bombed the episode. And, we'll get there. So, all right, guys, let's get into the very first bit of the episode, which is that there is this True Detective style murder going on. It's like with these crazy markings. Dilton is dead.
Dilton Doily is now.
It's a shame.
Just the names of these characters sometimes you don't really think about them until like they're beating you over the head with their names.
Right.
Doily, DD,
Dilton,
and Ben
yeah.
Button.
Well, Dilton Doily from the comics, obviously, it's a good name. But why is he named Benjamin Button? I could I'm serious. It's the curious case of Benjamin Button. What is that about? I mean, that has to be intentional. Am I wrong about that?
No,
You don't name a character Benjamin Button.
Well, you saw in last week's episode, he was a lot older.
No, you're making that up.
You didn't see like a mustache. And
Yeah. Some good CGI.
Thank you, everybody.
I hadn't realized that it was the same guy that had hooked up with Miss Grundy the second that it was Ben.
yeah.
I actually
you get that?
when they said that, I was like, wow, this is the same kid.
Yeah. He was also working at the shop, right? Like, because she comes in, the flashback.
I mean, I love the full circle that they're doing actually for the
Right.
the episodes and bringing it for this new season. They're answering questions
Yeah.
that they kind of left out of season 2, and I actually appreciate that a lot.
Does he have an old soul, do you feel? Like if he's hooking up with teachers and stuff, like maybe he's like an adult in a kid's body kind of thing?
There you go. That's going to be Jeff Graham up in the booth. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm good, guys. I'm inserting myself in your conversation because I love David Fincher and I love F. Scott Fitzgerald. So
you and I are big fans of so we were just talking about Aaron Sorkin before the show started. You like Fincher. Is The Social Network one of your favorite pieces of media ever created?
The Social Network is potentially my favorite movie. So yeah, that's a good.
I would argue that The Social Network may be the best film of the 2010s. It's I've gone
So
back.
far, yeah.
I've gone back to rewatch the film, and every time I watch it, I'm like, this is the most compelling movie ever made. It's like that good. It's just.
It's the most representative of this decade, I would say.
It's an unbelievable
I
movie.
personally just prefer Perks of Being a Wallflower, but that's me.
Also very good. Very good. Let's keep that conversation going after the show, Jeff. Stop me in the hallway. All right. So getting back to this though, the markings on the back. We've got Dilton is dead. Ben's in the hospital. They talk to Ethel. Is it Ethel? Yeah, it's Ethel.
Yeah.
Ethel for president.
Etheline. Princess Etheline.
Bow in her hair. Obviously involved in some shady ass stuff. What's going on with Ethel? What is she? She has a seizure. I don't even get it.
I mean, even from the first season, I mean, she just comes in for bits and pieces, and she has got just one heck of a messed up life. Yet I almost feel like, do I want the show to almost do an episode that kind of focuses on her? Do I feel like she needs a little bit more exploration?
The Ethel in a bottle episode.
Yeah, because I feel like these little snippets we get for her, it's like, whew, man, Ethel, what is going on with you?
Dad gets fired. Right. Yeah. Brutal stuff. I guess we can save what her involvement is in our minds, what we predict. We can save it for predictions later. But yeah, she was like, so she was dating Ben
In the game.
in this game, the gargoyles, and I didn't write the name down.
Gargoyles, and it starts with a G, and I want to say
Goblins, maybe.
The gladiators?
Girafons.
I don't know. That's my wheelhouse, though.
Yeah.
Magic the
chat,
Gathering. That's my
please
thing.
write it, and then I'll say it. So
Yeah.
oh, actually, somebody in the chat, I cannot say your name, is Anurag. Your last name is, I can't say it. She was possessed. That's what they believe.
Right. Well, at the end with the seizure in the hand, I think so. I would agree. I think she seems possessed. Seems like what's going on. So yeah, but there's like this whole mystery thing going on. Another mystery to be solved by Betty and Jughead. So they find out about this bunker. They go out to the woods and they're chased by like I don't even know what to make of it. Like a big tree monster thing.
Yeah.
The
What?
Gargoyle King.
With like the desert skull.
That part of it was the non-True Detective part. That was the like Russ Cole and Marty Hart are not investigating like a giant moving tree. But what was that thing? Any thoughts?
I mean, I guess it is the representation of the Gargoyle King, supposedly. But whether it's a human being in there kind of made dressing that as a costume and using it, or it is some kind of spiritual manifestation, who knows?
At the end of the episode, when the parents were all together, Hermione says, "And now Scout is back. Thank God." Is that an animal?
It was
No,
the Scout.
that was the Scout, the little boy that went missing.
The Scout. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Because for a second I was like, are they calling the big tree thing the Scout, and they're all aware of it, and that was the thing from when they were kids? So that's a weird name for that. Okay, so they're chased through the woods. They find this bunker, and now because of the pop culture references, every time they show us something, my mind goes down that, do I recognize this? And I was like, is this Lost season 2? Are they finding a bunker? Is there gonna be like a button they have to push? It wasn't that.
Or it's like a very It type thing at the end.
Something,
where
yeah.
the parents like we vowed we'd never talk about this, but it's coming back.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I think it's kind of crazy. I think it's an easy crutch as a creative to be like, I want to make a show that directly references all of these famous things in pop culture that I love. I've thought about that before when I was like, well, I want to pitch a show and it should be this. It's just funny to see a show that's properly doing it now because like every couple episodes we're getting like something we love. Anyway, so
I feel like it all depends on how you stick the landing because it's great. You can do all the homages you want, but if it just turns out to not really amount to anything by the end of the season, then you're like, great, you did all these really cool homages, but the story still didn't work.
Yeah, I think that the soul of this show stays totally intact. I haven't felt yet that it's like infringed in a way that has made me feel uncomfortable or like cheap. I've kind of liked all of it so far. But as I mentioned at the beginning, I think it's just clear that's what the show's doing. So they go and they find this bunker, and there's a kid hiding in the bunker.
Yes.
That creeped
The
me out.
scout, yeah. That was Doyley's apprentice.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the kid gets that. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in this episode. This episode had a lot. There was a ton packed into it.
Well, what I do like though is at least they don't do the one thing where only Jughead or only Betty saw the creature out in the woods or whatever that was out in the woods.
Right.
And then it's then they have to burn an episode or two like trying to convince other people like,
Right.
No, I really saw this thing.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. You were probably just you were stressed and you imagined this. So
Yeah,
at least
sure.
with two people seeing it, it's like all right, we can accept that it's real. Let's move
Yeah,
on.
right.
Which brings upon an interesting notion because Betty was told that she was crazy that she saw the twins being dropped into a fire and then, levitated up. So now the real question is, did she really hallucinate it or was it a real thing?
With the babies?
Yeah.
Well, seeing all the ads for Sabrina on Sunset Boulevard, it makes me feel like I have less certainty that it was all in her head. But I think right now, I don't know. What do you guys think? You think it was real?
I just don't think that seizure something that just happened. And let's just say maybe Sabrina witchiness and maybe someone will be happy for the fact that some supernaturalness is happening now in the episode, even though she's not here today. I legit believe Evelyn is not witchy, but she is very more involved in what we believe.
She's pretty weird. Yeah.
She's
hella weird. I agree.
It'd be interesting to see because with Sabrina being on Netflix, and sure they kind of share the same kind of quasi universe, and there was talks of possibly doing a kind of crossover sort. But if they kind of decide to delve more into the supernatural side on Riverdale, which is totally cool if they want to, but not really having Sabrina as a main character in that, will that be as satisfying?
Right.
Would it be weird to have all that and not have a Sabrina character in there?
Yeah, fair enough. Guys, before we move on to the next bit of the episode, I do want to remind everybody here that we are on iTunes. If you are hearing this, if you've downloaded this, you're streaming this your very first time, it's the Riverdale After Show on AfterBuzz TV, please give us a rating, give us a review. If you do that, it actually helps us keep the lights on here, and as we would love to continue providing awesome free content for you guys, that's how we do it. If you guys give us a rating or review, so 5 stars would be excellent. I'm Ben, that's Frank, that's Chae. We're excited. Just give us a rating, and we'll share it in the chat and in the thoughts, and we'll shout you guys out next week. It's also Jeff up in the booth. I already introduced him, but Jeff, you're doing a great job.
You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up.
Any thoughts from the chat here?
Anurak. I really hope I'm saying your name wrong. I'm so sorry if I butcher it. I really
Say it again.
Anurak. Maybe it's Egyptian because that's the only thing that makes sense.
One more time. I knew you, Reg.
Anurak.
Okay, fair
I'm
enough.
saying it like it's spelled. Okay, I'm so sorry. My phonetics is apparently really wrong. Maybe it says they say the farm and the creature are connected, which I totally believe.
Yeah, some weird psychological hallucination thing of like, or maybe the farm. Yeah, I don't know. Because Betty and Betty and Jughead are doing the autopsy. They're talking to that real weird, creepy doctor at the. Right, or is that
his son?
The morgue? Or something?
Yeah.
The morgue. He says he's the dude's son.
Not sure why, guys. I watched this episode closely, and there's a lot in this episode that feels like it just like what the hell is happening? Like, anyway, so let's move on to the next bit here because I want to make sure that we cover everything. Obviously, the most exciting and important plot point is that Archie is in jail. He's working out in the yard. He meets Mad Dog, who is more jacked than him. Oh man, there's a conversation when he gets in. He's like, "What's up, bro? how long you been in for? And he doesn't answer. And he's like, look, Broseph, you've got more jack triceps than me, okay? That's a problem for me. You're going to have to talk to me. And he's like, no way, bro. That didn't really happen, but like kind of.
But Archie
That's what you
saying,
imagine.
Archie saying Broseph was probably the weirdest thing I've ever heard come out of his
Right?
mouth. I'm like, what?
I was like, he calls him Broseph. I was like, you're in prison and you decide to call your cellmate Broseph in the first conversation before he opens his mouth.
Yeah.
That's going to go well for you. What? Broseph is like a thing I say to my buddies when I want to like make a joke. I say it like in Ron Burgundy's voice. You know what I mean?
I understand the term of abrasive, but I also feel like it goes right over my head because I feel like it's not a real word
Right. Like
that is used,
How many times out of 100 do you think you would call your cellmate Broseph before he opened his mouth if you were in prison? He or she?
None.
Zilch. Yeah.
It's a big zero for me too.
No. I think
Sorry.
I'd be I think I'd just go with sir. Why not go with sir?
Okay, so let's ask the question before we get into the sweet longest yard football game. If Mad Dog is gone forever, if he actually is, like let's pretend they said he's dead, but I don't know if he really is.
But he was tapped, so we know whatever he was tapped for, Archie's not being tapped. So
I feel that his body got more shine than he got as a character. He was like shown off well. He was doing pull-ups. He had a really nice like frontal full six-pack shot next to Archie, where he clearly looked like the more jacked guy.
Yep.
And then he's gone. He doesn't get to play sports. He doesn't get to throw a football. He doesn't like.
he did some curls in the yard.
Yeah, we had a lot of workout shots.
Yeah.
It almost makes me feel like they probably cast him from like a fitness agency rather than an acting agency,
Wow.
right? Okay.
I mean, or he could be
I'm
just
alone here.
that
I'm on an
jacked in real
island.
life.
Yeah.
I think you're just on an island right now, Ben.
Now, here's another question I have for you guys because we all know this because we work in Hollywood. How tall and big is that guy? Is he like 5'8", 145, or is he like the actually 6'4", like huge guy?
I don't think he's 6'4". I think he like maybe 6. I'll give him 6
know,
if
'cause
anything. But
big guy.
again, camera angles are a thing,
Yeah.
so you can't really. I would actually have to see a full picture of him.
But,
Sure.
I mean, Ben Bateman, you're a tall drink of water. I saw you had a photo with KJ Appa.
A tall
over at
drink of
Comic-Con.
water. Okay,
Yeah.
sure. That was a while ago.
Yeah, but still, there's a photo of you, and it looked like you guys are. He might be a little bit shorter than you. So, and this Mad Dog seemed to be just a little bit taller than Archie. So, I'd probably put him close to your height.
Apple boxes. Nobody knows really who's as tall as anyone. You know
Are
what I
you
mean?
looking it up?
I want to look up the actor's name because I feel bad just talking about his body because like it's a big it's a big break for that guy. You get that role, like that's
This
a big
is Mad Dog?
yes.
I'm on it.
You're on
Jeff
it.
is
Okay.
on it.
Okay.
I'll take a look, yes.
It's a big deal if you get that role.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of speaking time, and he looks great, and he has good scenes with Archie. Like a show like this, like I want to give the guy the shout out that he deserves. So I feel bad, but
Well, seeing what the trailer shows for next week, it seems like when you're tapped, you enter it, which will be next week's thing, like the illegal fight club of the prison.
it's like
Yeah.
the skulls or something.
yeah. So I could see him just losing a fight, getting beat up, and then that's the riot is a nice cover.
Oh, don't even get me started on the like. They have, and I know I make a lot of jokes about this, guys, but like clearly my jokes paid off because like they've leaned into shirtless Archie so much harder this season. Last season it was like every 4 episodes we got like a good shot. This season it's like 4 times an episode we get a good shot.
Okay, first of all, technically he had less shirtless moments in this episode than the first episode because I count at least 6 to 7 shirtless Archie moments. I'm not complaining because yes, I
Maybe.
appreciate it. But there were just only like maybe 2 to 3.
Yeah.
So it went down, but obviously for the legal underground fighting, your shirt's got to be off.
The
so.
2 cast members that obviously added the most to their form were Archie and Cheryl. Cheryl's been working out a lot. She's curvier in a muscular way. Actually, I talked about this on the show. Someone tweeted at me. Cheryl's been working out a lot, which is why she is like more voluptuous because she's more muscular now. And Archie has bigger arms. Just saying, guys. I watch the show. I pay attention to other things. So anyway, they're in prison, and Archie meets Mad Dog. And he gets his ass kicked because he won't give up his shoe. He won't shiv someone. They take his shoes.
The ghoulies. So now we have. It's interesting though. The ghoulies and the serpents are in the same place, but obviously.
Joaquin comes back.
And I'm just like, what are you doing here?
Were you thinking the whole time? You're like, sorry, Joaquin. Kev's with Moose now. Doesn't matter. It's a lost cause. You're coming back. Doesn't matter.
Well, based on all that Kevin is doing just this episode to get Moose's attention,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I kind of want Kevin to just stop and really take value in himself. And if he's not gonna come out, okay, that's his choice.
Right.
You just have to move on. I think that's the only advice I really want to give Kevin this episode because you're trying to bring the summer to this new school year.
Yeah.
But now my dad's here. He doesn't know. I'm in ROTC. Don't ask, don't tell. If that's still going to be a policy in their ROTC, we'll find out, maybe or not.
Yeah, I think quick pause. Pause between sets here. We're gonna go quick drink of water. Let's talk about Kev and Moose for a second, because that's an interesting plot line they've decided to give us. Is that now Kevin wants to be real open about this whole thing. He's ready. Moose doesn't want it. Classic high school closeted gay guy won't do it. But he's kind of like, Moose was willing to, like, Kevin kissed him and he was just like, hey, my dad's down there. Don't let him see. Seems like Moose is a little bit ready. Like, he's a little bit ready to see people see, but not like all the way. He's not ready to be out. He's ready to be like, you saw me, but I'll deny it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
He's more just, we can be us away from everybody else, but when we're around everybody else, I have to, I still have to be Moose.
Well, when they were at the pool party last week, they were them, and like, because they were around their friends, right?
Yeah.
They were so they're kind of open a little bit.
The door to the closet has been unlocked.
Yes, exactly. I
like that.
And the episode was called "Fortune in Men's Eyes." I don't know if that relates to the subject we're talking about. Just saying.
To go back to Archie, though, for one second, in prison, he gets that serpent tattoo to at least give him some cover with the serpents. But when they say, when that doesn't work, it's like, you got this tattoo essentially for nothing, bud. You got this, so great.
He's like, he got the 3 free CDs, and now he has to sign up for a year's worth of membership. He was like, oh, these CDs are great. I'm going to be golden. They only cost me $9.99. I got 3 CDs. That's a reference to the 2000s, guys. People don't, BMG.
But I will say I did appreciate that, because even though I still think how Archie went about being in juvie is very stupid. I think that's the only word I can say. I'm sorry. I wish I could find a more intelligent
It's
or
like a Mad Lib. Archie and stupid, and there's
very
insert
way to
things in the
say
middle.
that. However, it shows his character though. Like he's not like so far gone, regardless of all that Hiram has done and all now that he's in juvenile detention, he still hasn't lost who he is, and that's what I really appreciate about that scene in general.
So my things with this episode are that I think the mystery, the Carcosa stuff, is interesting. I like that. I like what's going on with Veronica and her dad. And I even like, in some ways, like, I enjoyed parts of prison, but I did find that in general, Archie in prison was it was so preposterous and far gone that I had a hard time with it at certain times. Like, it was like, look, guys, I don't want trouble. It's like, you're in juvie. What are you talking about? Like, they're here to kick your ass, man. And the like really big kind of Australian looking Nick Jonas guy.
Yep.
It just, the whole thing was just like a little too much for me. I don't know. How would you guys do with it? You were into it.
If I wasn't, I mean, sexy, like legit, like, did they just get hotter? I feel like they just recruited so many hot guys.
Oh
for
God,
juvie.
so many handsome kids in prison.
They're just handsome under 18 kids. Obviously, the actors are not, but still, you're just like, why are you all so good looking? I mean, obviously, all you have to do is work out. That's all the time you
Interesting
can
question,
do.
yeah.
But they're all good looking. Like
Right.
Joaquin's eyes was just like,
It's piercing. Yeah,
dude.
I agree.
But I'm thinking, as if by next episode 3, you're going to fight clubs underneath the prison. Like, you're burning out pretty quickly on how long you can keep Archie in prison before he gets too ridiculous.
Well,
And
you
you
got
gotta
to- yeah.
spring him at some point.
Yeah, we had some slow-mo, like Raging Bull style, body shots going on in the
Yeah.
preview for next week. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Hey Jeff, did we get the name of Mad Dog before you move
Guys,
on?
I have been scouring.
Really?
I am having trouble. I want to challenge the chat. See if you can find the Mad Dog actor, because I'm pretty good at the internet and I am struggling to find the Mad Dog
Believe it
actor.
or not, I feel
Oh,
like
I got you.
I feel like I recognized him actually. I thought I'd seen him.
they
in
say
something.
he's people in the chat saying he's Jaha's son on the 100.
That's exactly what it is. That's why I recognized him, because I used to cover that show. That was my very first AfterBuzz show ever. Was the 100.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's exactly why he played Wells. He dies in the 4th episode. Spoiler.
Oh, no, now I.
Oh dang!
no
I was
point
like, I
in
was
me
looking
starting
for him and
this.
everything. You just ruined it.
That's exactly who that guy was. Yeah. That show was really good at one time. It was really enjoyable.
Eli
Hey.
Gore. I just found
Yeah.
his name, but I cheated because Chae let me know. But Eli Gore is the name of the actor.
Yeah, that show, I still think there's value to that show. It just, somewhere around the 3rd season, it started to, like, kind of lose sight of who it was. And there was a ton of controversy with that show that kind of made it hard to watch it without getting distracted. But anyway, back to the task at hand, which is talking about this show.
Oh, yeah. Do you like the fact that it's just Hiram is still pulling the strings?
Okay, so the Hiram stuff is fine. Him, Warden Norton, like that guy, which is not Norton, that's from Shawshank, but I don't think they actually let us know his name yet. But the whole like Warden in my pocket thing, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm telling you, the prison stuff, when Archie was like, hey friends, let's play football. And then Veronica was like, musical number. I was just like, all right, guys, you're off the deep end for a second here. Let's pull it back in. And then when they beat the crap out of everybody and it was like, you can't play football in prison, I was like, okay, that's probably how this should end. And it escalated very quickly.
Yes.
Why can't it just be like, well, not really that much like the longest yard, but why can't that be realistic?
I don't think I need the show to be realistic. I think there's just parts of like the characters interacting where it just feels like too campy. Like I'm okay with, because it's an Archie comic, so I'm okay with part of that. And part of that is what makes this sort of like the guilty pleasure appeal of it, is that it's like, it is fun. It's supposed to be fun. I don't think it's supposed to be like really, really heavy. It's just, there are certain plot lines that take us down where it's like, just like a little too absurd for me. Like, make it, I don't, maybe that's just me. Maybe I just...
Well, do you buy that Archie held his own along against the SWAT team?
That he beat up like 5 SWAT guys?
Yeah, before he got taken down.
Only 3 of them.
I mean, enough to make him the new Mad Dog.
That's true, yeah. I like you showed some fire.
Right. Sweet. Show's great. I love this show. All right, guys, before we move on to the next part of the show, I do want to give you another quick shout out. After Buzzers, we have dramas, we have reality TV shows, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans. We produce after shows for all of your favorite shows on TV. Subscribe to a YouTube channel. We've got a bunch of them. We've got dramas, reality TV. We've got live events. We do red carpets for like all the biggest movies and all the biggest TV shows. I mean, we've got comedy. We've got superhero stuff, like literally everything. Don't worry about notifications if you want to turn them off. If you don't want to get the notifications all the time, you can just shut them off. Hit the subscribe button on this one. This is dramas. Any of the other networks if you want to, guys. It is like literally one of the 2 things you can do to help AfterBuzz stay AfterBuzz. So let us know if you like it. Leave your thoughts in the comments and we will shout you out on the air. Please, guys, help us continue to be the ESPN of TV talk. Let's get back to the show. All right. You gave me a musical number there.
I love it.
Soundtrack. Excellent.
Jeff is on point.
He's a really good engineer. Jeff,
right.
you're absolutely crushing it.
You know what? It's easy to do and the panel's great, y'all.
Aw.
Lovely.
Never said that to me before. My
So, okay, a couple other things to talk about in this episode that I want to make sure we get to cover. So, the stuff with the parents is really interesting. It was a subplot that only starts to really get to us at the end, but we know that there is this thing coming. There's going to be a flashback episode. You told me it was November 21st.
November 7th.
Okay, November 7th. So we're right around the corner, guys. We are going to get the flashback episode where we see these guys as kids. Do we know? Is it going to be the actors themselves? Is it going to be the kids playing their parents?
the kids playing the parents.
That's what's going to be?
Yep.
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
Excellent.
Nice.
It's wonderful. I'm pretty excited for that. Which character are you most excited to see play their parent?
Oh, well, I can see KJ Appa just channel that sweet Luke Perry.
Oh,
I mean, if they put on the nice 90210 Burns,
right.
Oh, there you go.
What if it's I'd be excited to see maybe Casey Cott play his dad, Sheriff Keller. Sheriff Keller is a pretty handsome guy, I've got to say, and if Casey gets real kind of husky, maybe that's would be good. Work well for him.
I'm interested in who's going to play Hiram Lodge. I'm not going to lie. I think that is going to be very foretelling.
It's gonna be Mark Consuelos' son.
Yeah, or it'll be Veronica. I'll just
Yeah, that's right.
But who's going to play Hermione?
gender swap maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
No, but it's gonna be his son coming into play.
Really?
Wait, really?
Oh, that's confirmed. You weren't kidding.
No,
Oh wow.
I thought you were
you go.
kidding.
no.
Nice.
Terrific.
There you go.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Go to the source, man.
Is Mark Consuelos' son as stoic and
Does he have the veins?
visually appealing in the arm regions?
He wears that wrestling singlet well. So,
That's
yeah.
right, the wrestling singlet. We need more wrestling singlet in season 3. That's something we're missing for sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
'Cause, was Mary in that parent scene, or she wasn't there?
I didn't see her. They
Okay,
cut
so
to.
cool.
It
I
looked
just-
like they cut to Cheryl's mom at one point,
Yeah.
but I saw. You see FP. Oh, there you go. There's a picture of Mark and Spells and his son. Yeah, you saw most of the parents that we see on a regular basis, but yeah, I didn't see. You're looking for Molly Ringwald. I didn't see her.
Yeah, only because if it happened in high school, she was there too. So I want to know if she'd be in the her character be in the flashback episode as well.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
right.
She would. You don't have to worry about getting Molly Ringwald. You can find anybody at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Player.
Exactly. Yeah, that should be a really fun episode to watch. I'll be excited to see that one.
What I do like is that it's happening much sooner in the season. So I feel like, all right, that's another feeling that kind of gets me on board with what they have planned for the
Hyped.
season.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you see it happen a lot with television shows where the first season is such a hit that the second season they struggle to get their legs. And when you look back at season 2s often that feel like that, they don't feel as much of a departure. It's just when it happens and the expectation is so high. It's happened a lot. That's like, it happened with Lost season 2 a little bit. Definitely happened with True Detective season 2 in a major way.
Oh, sorry, the chat. So apparently Trevor Steins is coming back, and he will be playing Clifford Blossom.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, Trev, my boy. Big fan of Trevor. Big fan of him. Yeah, maybe we'll maybe Trevor wants to come back next week.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You can finally talk on an episode of Riverdale.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'll text him so he wants to come. Let's continue talking about what we think has actually happened with the parents. I think that's important. So what happened? What did they kill someone? Is there?
Okay, so I feel like it's a murder pact. I don't know why I'm getting that feeling, but I really feel like they made a murder pact. Either something happened that they didn't mean it happened, but it did, and now they all didn't want to ruin their futures.
Yeah.
But now the past is coming back to bite them in the ass. Like it mostly does. Whatever you do in the dark always has to come to light in some way.
Does seem like this show is so dark at times. Like it doesn't hold anything back. Like it would have to be something pretty bad for me to feel like it was worse than what we've seen. I mean, what could it be? We've seen mass psychopathic murders and like history buried. I mean, there's been really bad stuff. Maybe like.
Well, because I know I joked to you while we were watching it. It's that they're saying like it's like the face of evil. Like, so that's season 3. You guys go up against that. What's season 4? Like,
Yeah.
How do you top that?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know who's the face of evil.
When you fight that, everything else is a letdown after that.
I mean, so obviously this like cult thing that has killed Dilton has gotten their attention. So it has something to do with that. Is that what they
So
get?
either they created the game and somebody's picked it back up, or.
Some devil worship like murder thing.
But my question is, if you knew your past was coming back to bite you, why would you join a cult? And I mean, Alice, obviously.
I mean, okay, so you reference It in the Losers Club. That's like a thing, right? There's like obviously some weird force. That feels like what that is. And that would relate really nicely to the True Detective stuff. And I remember watching that show, and I won't spoil that because if you haven't watched True Detective Season 1, guys, it's the best season of television of all time. You should watch it. It's literally amazing. But like they build and they build and they build and they build. When you finally find out in the last episode exactly what the person they've been hunting did, it is horrible. It's really bad. It's like it's awful. So that's kind of what you have to believe this thing that the parents were involved in has something to do with. It's got to be something really bad. It can't just be a few dead people.
No.
Charmed Original, which I love. She said the parents are pulling a "I know what you did last summer."
Yeah, right. Exactly. Wow. That's a throwback.
That so much.
Yeah.
And if that's happening, I am all for it.
I know what you did last summer. Terrific.
Still no.
Yeah, I still know.
That was
Still
the.
know what
I'm
you did.
sorry. That was still the best one. That sequel did me proud. Bernie survived.
I still know what you did last summer. Those are movies that if I was asked trivia questions about tomorrow, I think I'd fail all of them. Even like who played who, I like probably if I was lucky could like throw a couple actors out and maybe get half of them right. Was it like Freddie Prinze and Buffy and
So
Jennifer Love Hewitt?
Yep.
They were
Yeah.
all in that.
They were
Yeah.
all in it, all 3.
And Ryan Phillippe.
Oh, I forgot he was in it. Look at that. Wow, it's been a long time. I'd say go watch that movie, but I don't think it's very good. So there's probably better slasher comedy or horrors that are made for teen audiences that you could watch that aren't made 20 years ago, right? No, am I wrong about that? Am I a hater?
No, not at all. No.
Yeah.
I will say what I enjoyed this episode that kind of continues on from last week too is the portrayal of Cheryl, where she wants to be student body president since Archie's not there.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see Cheryl kind of go after who she wants, but not in the cattiness we've seen a lot in season 1 and part of season 2. Like her time with Tony has kind of made her a little bit more of a just
Diplomatic.
rounded. Yeah, well-rounded human being.
Something. Yeah. Well, yeah, she is. I mean, it is interesting that she came in all hot and heavy on Veronica. And good for, good for Riverdale for giving tons of shirtless Archie. And there's a scene of girls looking super hot, not wearing things also. Like, we go both ways with this show. But,
Pun intended.
yeah. But, no, I thought that was interesting. She comes in, she wants the student body president thing, and Veronica's just like, no. But then she kind of negotiates, but then because it's like, what it feels like is that Cheryl wants to be hated, but she also wants to be loved. She like sort of can't decide. She like needs to be this like controlling like bitchy character, but she also like when she's real quiet wants people to respect and love her. Do you know what I mean?
Well, because she offers up to Veronica the Innocence Project.
Yeah.
Which certainly when Veronica came at her, just in a very snipey way. And I mean, she could have just responded in kind. And I think old Cheryl definitely would have.
Yeah.
Kind of rose up and it just would have been two people kind of clashing. But she takes a little bit more of a mellow approach and then offers a little help to Veronica.
But do you guys feel that for this, just a couple episodes that we've seen so far, that Cheryl is also building up to something even bigger? Like she's like, oh, you know, I'm gonna bring my arrow, my bow. I'm ready for some hell raising. Like I think she's a little bit more mellow because she is dating Tony, but it hasn't mellowed out the craziness that I love about Cheryl at the same time.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, she has to. I don't think they're going to just like intrinsically change her character. So I think she'll still have some crazy in her, and I think they'll get there. But it is interesting they continue to show these little moments where she wants to be taken seriously and loved. And it's usually when she's talking to like one person versus like a whole group of people. She can open up.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, who stole the show, guys? I want student class body president and I don't know, class clown. Is that what we're doing?
Class
Yeah,
yeah,
there you go.
yeah. Look at you selling it like a pro that you are, Ben Bateman.
Yeah. So who do we got? Who was the scene stealer? Who was on top this episode?
You know, I'm gonna
Monica Posh.
Oh
Yeah, that was a big moment. The Monica Posh moment. Yeah.
Yeah, but I also wonder, like, how often does that happen? Because eventually she's gonna get busted for that. So how many wigs is she gonna be showing up? Like every other week? Like it's always a girl. It's always a girl in different colored wigs showing up for Archie.
You don't think she's just gonna play Monica Posh with a blonde wig? That's gonna be Archie's lawyer,
Yeah, that's how Hiram's fooled now. Yeah, that's it. You pulled one over on Dad.
right? Yeah, there you go. Archie's new blonde lawyer.
Yeah.
But I also think Hiram is very underestimating his daughter. Like he's estimating her to some extent, but forgetting that she is still his daughter. So eventually she will be the one that gets one over on you, and she's gonna take you down hard because she's your daughter.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with formerly Wells on the 100. Mad Dog. Mad Dog's my guy in this episode. He acted with his eyes. He didn't do as much as I wanted him to do. I really wanted to see him let loose on the football field. I was like, we got a lot of physicality in this guy. Seems like a powerful runner, but we didn't get to see it.
No, but you did get to see him. I mean, he did excellent lat work, and that was multiple takes. You can imagine.
Strong lat work. He could have been doing lat pull downs, but they decided they would give us pull ups instead.
That's right.
Both good for the lats. What do you got? Who stole the show for you?
I'm gonna say I'm really enjoying Cheryl. So in just these kind of quiet moments. So I think I'll make her my class president, but my class clown, I'm gonna go with Keven, just because I feel like he's making some foolish moves right now.
Yeah,
that are gonna come
that was a
back
shame. I was sad to
and
see.
bite him on the butt.
Kevin and Archie.
You're doing a duel. You're doing a dual class clown.
Only because like I love that he's following his heart,
Yeah.
but sometimes you need to listen to your head and just pull back and let Moose realize that you know what he has. And Archie, because I'm still upset with you for being in juvenile right now. I'm really upset.
I'm gonna go class clown Moose. I mean, I just think look, man, I know what you're doing here. We've seen it a lot of times on television and in movies. It's a real bummer. It's gonna come back to bite you. You're not gonna live your life like this. You're gonna regret it. You're gonna push someone away. Then Joaquin's gonna get out of jail somehow. He's gonna steal Kevin back,
That's right.
and you're gonna regret it. Probably.
Well, we miss what's gone until we can't miss what's gone until it's gone, and then we realize how our
I believe you're referencing the classic Cinderella song. Don't know what you got till it's gone.
Oh,
Actually-
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, true, but just the life lesson that's something we all live through. Like our biggest regrets are the ones of the mistakes we made by letting some people leave our lives because we weren't brave enough to speak up.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you, Chae.
Wise.
Do you feel not enough people still talk about Hiram's mad scheme for Riverdale and the building of the prison and all that stuff? I feel like that.
I forgot it happened.
See, I feel like that is still something that's going to be going. He won essentially.
Yeah, season 2, we introduced a lot of stuff, didn't tie it up, very Lost-esque. So okay, guys, let's get into our next bit. We already kind of talked
Ooh.
about the news. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, people in the chat are saying the class clown is Polly.
Oh yeah, what a fool.
I actually agree. Alice and Polly. I don't want to change it, but I agree with you.
Okay, yeah, nice. Who gave us that one?
Jelly Fam on High, and a new rack, and
Excellent.
Taylor James. But for Stole the Show, she actually agreed with you about Mad Dog and Veronica and actually Jughead. So.
Excellent, love it. All right, guys, we already talked about one of our pieces of news, which is that the November 7th cast flashback episode is happening. The other one I teased at the beginning of the episode is just a headline that I saw, which is pretty crazy. I'm going to read it off of Twitter. So you guys remember Ross Butler? He's the guy that originally played Reggie. He was on 13 Reasons Why.
Yes.
He left the show. Here's the headline on E! News. Francis Bean Cobain's ex, Isaiah Silva, claims Courtney Love conspired to kill him in new lawsuit. So I'm going to read this because I was so confused. I was trying to read this during watching the show and couldn't make sense of it. So Francis Bean Cobain's ex, Isaiah Silva, accuses her mother, Courtney Love, of helping to conspire to have him killed in order to retrieve one of Kurt Cobain's famous guitars. Earlier this month, after a 2-year legal battle, Francis and Isaiah finalized a divorce to end their almost 4-year marriage. They had reached a settlement under which Isaiah would keep her late father's 1959 Martin guitar, which he played during his band Nirvana's iconic 93 MTV Unplugged performance. Isaiah said he had given him the instrument as gift, a claim she denied. Last week, Isaiah sued Courtney, her manager, Sam Lufty, known for his previous dealings with Britney Spears, and Amanda Bynes, his alleged associate 13 Reasons Why and Riverdale star Ross Butler, as well as several other associates, accusing them of planning to kill him in order to retrieve the guitar almost 2 years ago. They have not commented. 2 years ago, a robbery. Ross Butler being accused of being a part of a robbery conspiring to kill someone? What the hell?
But why wait 2 years to tell somebody?
I don't know. I'd have to read that. That was so many names.
Yes.
And you guys didn't get it, right? I didn't get it. I still don't really get it. But what I do know is that there's a claim going on that Ross Butler was a part of something pretty nefarious, which is crazy. And you don't ever want your name associated with stuff like that.
My favorite take on this story is that it's the most Mad Libs-esque crime ever committed.
Right.
So many fill in the blanks.
If you add just people's names in their place, you replace guitar with something, yeah, right. There's so many things. So yeah, those are the 2 pieces of news today that we wanted to talk about, guys. Before we wrap up, I do want to talk predictions. Let's get into predictions.
And now your AfterBuzz TV predictions. AfterBuzz TV news.
That was a mistake. Sorry, guys.
That's great. No, that was perfect.
I've got trigger fingers back here.
So what do you guys got? What are your predictions?
Well, I feel like we know we're going into a Fight Club type of thing, so I'm trying to think of another great prison movie.
The first rule of something.
Yeah. Whether it's all right. I'll say that by the end of the season, at least the end of the mid-season, it's gonna have to be like episode of it's gonna be like The Rock,
right?
Where Archie is gonna have to be with somebody else to break back in to the juvie for some reason.
I knew it was you. Yeah. Yeah.
I predict hopefully by the mid-season finale, Archie is out of juvie. And I also believe Evelyn, the daughter of the weirdest cult leader's name ever, is definitely involved. Don't know what now. And I know it's going to be something big. And I'm really actually happy that Betty did not drink that chamomile tea because I don't trust her mom.
Fair. I think my prediction is that the game and all of the kids had some involvement in creating the game, and that had something to do with devil worship and some kind of force of evil, like the most evil thing in the world, and some horrible, heinous crime that we're unaware of happened, and they all were a part of it, and they all knew, but the devil something, evil force, if they talked about it, would kill someone, and more people were going to die, so they all buried it and moved on, and that's the thing. And that game was revived when Dilton and someone found this box or something like that. That's, I think, the two things are definitely connected, and I think that's my prediction there.
I mean, that will explain the serpent cards.
Right. Exactly.
Because why would this game actually have cards specifically for the Southside Serpents?
Something like that, exactly. So
You're the
that's
Rocket
gonna be
Man.
Yeah, the Rocket. But do you like Elton John? I don't listen to soft ass shit. Tony Todd, actually, a veteran of Riverdale.
There
He
you
was
go.
on the show last season. The Rock. Watch The Rock, guys. It's one of the best movies ever
It's
made.
fantastic.
Huge fan. Huge fan. All right, guys, that's going to wrap us up for this week's show. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Where can the folks find you if they want to follow along, comment, tweet at you, what have you?
You can follow me as I'm always updating my Ben Bateman appreciation page. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me. You can find me at Real Chae Jones on Twitter and Instagram. And Sundays, Dancing with the Stars Juniors is getting intense.
You guys can find me at Ben Bateman Media, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm back on Wednesdays on the Popcorn Talk Network. It's actually Thursdays now doing Action Movie Anatomy. We've done The Rock. Watch it. It's a great show. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. I'm not here next week. Have a good one.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.